In this video, what I want to show you is a process that we use to get all of the copy that we need for ads and landing pages and emails and all of that stuff when we're creating campaigns for digital products, high ticket programs, information, sort of sales. Because one thing that I have found over many years of doing this after, running a lot of campaigns, these types of products are very copy intensive campaigns. And so whereas with ecom, maybe you can promote like buy one, get one free or a 30% discount or free shipping or stuff like that, the way that you structure your angles and your offers and your campaigns and all of your communication that you're using when you're selling digital products, high ticket programs, stuff like this, it's going to be a lot different. And you really have to have an extreme depth of knowledge about your customers, about the product, about the offer. It's not something you can just kind of like jump into and make some stuff up, throw some stuff against the wall and start getting some results. And so at the agency, when we're working with clients, we really want to make sure that we understand our clients' customers and their problems just as good, if not better, than our actual customers do. And the good news is usually all of this information is contained inside of our customer's head, my client's head, because we're typically working with a business owner or a marketer who has been on this team for a while. So if you're trying to do this for yourself, it's probably in your head, and you can use this process to help you dig out a lot of really good copy. And if you're working with clients, if you're like a marketer or you're trying to get results for other people, you can use this exact process yourself, and you can get better results for your clients. And so let's talk about this quick process. So I call this our copy deep dive call. And what we do is we set up a 1 hour-ish, sometimes they go a little over, maybe like 70, 80 minutes, where we just get on the call and we record it. And we ask our client a ton of questions. And so these questions that I'm going to share with you are the really valuable nuggets here. What I'm trying to do on these calls is I'm trying to get our client to just give us all of the information that we know is in their head. And then we come at it from a copywriter perspective and start digging into, what are some potential hooks? What are some angles? What are some potential things that we could talk about in our campaigns and really get a really good understanding of who the person that we're trying to target and what are their pain points and their problems that they're trying to solve in their life, because that makes up the entirety of the campaign that we are running. So if you are doing this for a client, maybe you have clients and you're trying to get this done, again, you set up a 1 hour Zoom call and you just want to make sure that you hit record because you're going to transcribe this later. If you're doing this for yourself, one thing you could do, I would suggest talking this out rather than writing it, because I find that with talking it out, you can just get out a lot more ideas. And so maybe you could either interview yourself, you could have someone on your team jump on a call with you and ask you these questions, because you really just want to verbally brain dump stuff. Because what we end up doing at the end of this, I'll just kind of share with you, is we put all this into a Google Doc and then we just go through it with like a highlighter, and literally just look for all the good gold nuggets and start making a bunch of comments. So first thing, set up a call. What are we gonna do? We're gonna jump on the call and we're gonna go through a series of questions. I typically start this call with just a little bit of chit chat, talking about the overall strategy of the business, the offer, what are they trying to accomplish, how does their funnel work, all of that stuff, just to get the client talking and get them to start kind of expressing and sharing ideas. And then we start running through these important questions, which is, what is the brand? What is your offer? What are you selling? How do you help people? Why do you exist? Who is your ideal customer? And this is where we really want to start digging and start getting a lot of specifics out of this, because just saying I help people who own businesses, I help business owners, or I help people who are trying to get fit, it's not specific enough. And so here we really want to keep digging and digging until we really end up with a very specific type of person. I'm helping professionals who are at this stage of experience. They're typically married. They live maybe in this part of the world. They experience these kinds of problems. And then we can really start getting into what are the customer pain points that they have. And so what we want to figure out here is what are the challenges and struggles that they're dealing with on a regular basis that they're trying to solve before and while they are researching your business. So what are they dealing with that is getting them to go online and start looking for solutions, start thinking about solutions? And then when they're either doing research, thinking about working with you, what are the problems that they're facing on a regular basis? Because those problems that they're facing is what is going to lead a lot of our copy and lead a lot of our very front end marketing. So these are our ads, these are our landing pages, these are emails, this is all this stuff that we're going to put together where we want to be speaking to the issues that they're dealing with, what's missing in their life, what they don't have right now that they really want to have, and why they haven't haven't been able to get that problem solved already. Then the next thing that we're going to talk about with our client, the next thing we're going to kind of transition to once we've really dug deep and got a lot into the ideal customer and what are the things that they're struggling with, is we're going to start talking about the new opportunity that you are presenting them. So what does your offer give them as an opportunity to solve this problem? How are they going to solve it? What is it going to do for them? And really, what about this opportunity is interesting, exciting, unique? How does it help them get the results that they want faster? How does it help them improve who they want to be as a person, kind of as their identity? What kind of money does this help them make? Whether it's financial money, it's money that they have to spend, what kind of money could they expect to receive back, especially with B2B offers. But even if you think about like physical fitness offers, or if you think about relationship offers, like, is there something that could monetarily be gained from doing this energetically? So like, what are they going to have to put into this to get the kinds of results that they're looking for? And then also, what are they going to get in return? So what could that look like for them later on down the line? And then like their reputation. So if this is a professional, are they going to help look them better in their professional's eyes? Are they an entrepreneur that's going to look better in their community? Are they a professional that's going to look better at work? Are they a husband that's going to look better to their wife? Like, what is this going to help them do socially and with their reputation that is going to help them gain? So we really want to dig into what are all these new things that your opportunity presents, and then kind of keep digging questions. So can you tell me more about that? Can you explain a little bit more about this one idea that you just mentioned here? And just keep digging and digging. And what we're really trying to do is just get them to talk through a lot of ideas, because again, if you're doing with a business owner, they probably know their customers and their product better than anyone else. If you're talking with someone that takes a ton of sales calls, they're talking to customers all day and they're hearing what are their objections, what are they trying to gain, what do they want, why are they setting up these calls? And so there's a lot to learn. Oftentimes it's just inside of somebody's head, and what we're trying to do is really pull it out. So a lot of just digging deeper questions. So and then at that point, what we'll kind of do is read that back to the business owner. And again, okay, so here's what you're telling me. This is your ideal customer. These are the problems that they're struggling with. This is what's missing in their life. This is what they're trying to accomplish. And here's the opportunity that you are presenting them. This is this new opportunity. This is why it could be exciting. This is what could be different that they might not have tried. And these are all the benefits they could get around like time that they're going to invest, what they're going to get back, money that they're going to invest and that they're going to get back, reputation that they're going to invest and they're going to get back, all of these things. Then from there, what we're digging into is really what is the dream outcome. So oftentimes you can frame this as like, who has been your best customer or your best client, and what is the kind of results that they've gotten? Can you walk me through a couple of case studies or testimonials, customers that come to mind who have implemented everything that you are talking about and has gotten exceptional results? Who are those people? What did they really want in the beginning? And then what was the outcome that they got? And what is the best outcome that you can deliver when someone actually goes forward and takes action and does all of these things? Assuming they're a good client, they're that ideal person that we want to be targeting, and they do all these things. What is that outcome that they are going to get? All of this is just to get ideas flowing. After having done a bunch of these calls, I can tell you, oftentimes when we just keep asking people to share ideas and remember things, they'll just keep coming up with stuff that's in the back of their head. Because again, if you're talking with someone that has a lot of experience in this business, in this market, whatever it is, all of this is back there. And oftentimes they just don't have the experience or the time or the knowledge to really go through and think about how this could be used for marketing promotion. So what we're trying to do is get all of this into this recording that we're going to transcribe later so that we can be the people who go out and turn it into good marketing material for them. The next question. So can you tell me about the story about this business? So why did this get started? How did you get started? What is your experience doing this? We're really trying to figure out is like, where do they have the authority to come at this? Why did they get started in this business? What was that history that made them go ahead and turn this into the business that it is today? And trying to dig out any credentials, any stories, maybe things we could share, stories that we could use to relate to the customer, stories that we could use to build authority with the customer, anything like that. So the next thing that we are going to start asking about is objections to buying. So this is really, really valuable, especially if you're talking to someone who has done a lot of sales for the company, whether that's a business owner or a sales rep, whoever that is. But what are the reasons that people tell you they don't want to move forward? Because this becomes really, really great material for email copy, creating case studies, testimonials, and also sales pages. So we want to figure out what are all the things that people are already saying that we've already heard that is kind of preventing people from moving forward. Maybe they don't have enough belief in themselves. Maybe they don't have enough belief in the program. Maybe they don't think that this is a really great opportunity now versus later. All of these things that you hear a lot on the phone, what we want to do is get all those written down, because we can start to address those in our marketing before we try to get people people to actually convert into a customer. The last two things here that we discuss. So what are the alternatives to this solution? And this is something that I have found through experience, especially if you're talking with business owners. Sometimes you really have to dig in and figure out what are all the alternatives, because if they're a really competitive market and they know it and they have some marketing mindedness, they will oftentimes give you a good list of competitors. But sometimes they'll be like, we don't really have competitors, or no one's really doing what we're doing, and all of this stuff. And so what I typically tend to dig into there is like, well, what are the things that people might be doing instead of hiring you? And that doesn't necessarily mean hiring a direct competitor, but like, what are other perceived alternatives to solving this problem that someone might do? So they might do nothing, but maybe instead of doing like a done-for-you training or a group coaching program or a mastermind or something like this, maybe they'll just go get a full-service agency. And so like, what are some of those alternatives? Like, what are the things that you've heard people tell you that they're going to do instead of working with you? And again, that's not always a direct competitor. It's not always somebody that offers the same product, but oftentimes it can be like a lateral solution to trying to solve that problem. You know, we have had people who were in training spaces that people that just went with done for you services. We have had people who are in like a group coaching training program who decided instead they were just going to go join like a mastermind group and get help that way. So there are typically alternatives out there, and we're trying to figure out what are the alternatives that your customers are looking at. So one, we can go do research and figure out what those people are saying and their marketing, their messaging. But two, also so that we can position ourselves against those alternatives and figure out how we can set ourselves apart from those options and make ourselves better than those options. And the last thing that we will oftentimes discuss is the guarantee. So what is the guarantee on this product program? What can we say in our marketing? Because we really want to be able to help remove the risk involved in deciding to move forward and make a decision to move forward. If there is no guarantee or there is no risk reversal as far as like signing up for a big program or something like that, we obviously want to step in front of that and make sure that we're communicating why that's the case. But oftentimes, most of these programs, courses, digital products, all of that stuff will have some type of risk reversal. And so we can also use that in our marketing, especially in our back-end marketing with like our email marketing, to get in front of moving people forward. Hey, you know, this isn't as risky as you think it will be. We do have all of these options out there. So that is the quick summary of questions that we'll go through. Again, this usually takes like 60, 70 minutes. And so what we just went through is, I've got my notes over here on my computer. So tell me about the brand, tell me about what the company is, who is the ideal customer, what are their pain points, what is the new opportunity that you are presenting them with. Then we kind of summarize everything that they told us. We kind of read that back to them. Then we talk about the dream outcome for their customers. What are the best success stories? What are their best case studies? Then we talk about the story of the brand, how it got started, why does it exist, all of that stuff. Objections to buying, alternatives into the market, and guarantees that we can use in our marketing. So once we've done this, we record this call. What we'll do is put this, you can just drop this into like rev.com, temi.com, something like that. And what you will end up with is a really long document with all of these ideas in it. And so then what we can do as the marketing team, we can get our copywriters in here, we can go through, we can start highlighting stuff that stands out to us. Ideas for stories, ideas for email marketing, ideas for ads, ideas for us to make our ideal customer avatar. I've got another video I can probably throw up here in one of these corners that talks about how we onboard clients. And this is one of the processes of when we're onboarding a new client, is going through this, because then we have all the material that we need to go out and start making really good copy focused marketing. And so that's it. This typically takes like 60 to 70 minutes. And then we have what we need for months on end for copy. This can be given to any copywriters that we're working with. This can be given to any new marketing people that might be coming on, and they can go through and get a lot of understanding about the business. We don't have to keep going back to the business owner or to our client and asking them a bunch of these questions. If you're doing this for yourself, this can be really valuable to just get someone on your team to answer all these questions, and then you guys can go through and highlight it and look for marketing ideas. And then you can come back and do this like every 6 months. You don't need to do it all the time, but every 6 months, jump back on and just start digging for information, right? So like, hey, has anything new come up about things you've realized about your customer? Who's the best fit? Pain points that are happening? Has anything changed about what you've been hearing on sales calls? All of that stuff. And so this becomes one of the best ways that we're able to just really pull out the information that we need. Because again, a lot of times it's in somebody's head. They just might not have the copy background or like the marketing chops to start thinking about it as ways they can use it to promote and generate sales. And so that's what we're here for. We come in, we go through all these questions, we record it all, we make it really easy for other people on the team to get this information, and then we get it out of somebody's head, we get it onto paper, and then we can just repeat this process when we need to. I hope you found this really helpful. I will list all of these questions down below so you kind of have a summary. If you found this helpful, drop a comment down below, and I'll catch you next time.